Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Possibilities, the podcast where we explore the lives of amazing people, their choices, challenges and opportunities. And today I have a very special guest, Muheeb. Hello.
Hi, hello.
Wow, so shy. That is not his real personality, guys.
Thank you for having me, Karen. Thanks.
There we go. So Muheeb, what's your kind of 1 minute intro?
So my 1 minute intro, I'll try to keep it to 30 seconds.
Nice.
I like to describe myself as a deep generalist. What that really means is someone who has deep knowledge across a length of different disciplines and skill sets, but is not an expert, doesn't have expertise in one particular discipline.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool intro. Sweet. So we're gonna go right from the beginning. So Muheeb, what kind of kid were you like growing up?
Look, I was fairly friendly. I was really social. I like to play outdoors a lot. So I was out playing a lot of different types of sports. I grew up playing cricket, basketball, golf. Surrounded myself with a lot of friends. But I also like to read and learn different things. So yeah, that was me. I was really into comic books as well. So I read a lot of comics when growing up. I grew up reading a lot of, I think the ones people would know are Asterix and Obelix, Tintin.
Yeah.
There's some local ones from Bangladesh, which is called Meena and Chacha Chaudhary. So yeah, and Archie's, of course. That was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And so how did you sort of fit in the school environment? So, you played sports, you were social. So I guess default popular.
Popular. Well, in a sense that I did play sports. I was academically all right. I thought so, at least. You can ask my high school teachers. Yeah. And I had a pretty close friend circle. So yeah, I wouldn't say I was like the popular kid in the movie sense, but I was friendly. Yeah.
Above average, it sounds like.
Yes. A generalist.
Wow, very good. Yeah, and so when you were young and you're thinking about the future, what was kind of running through your mind, if anything?
Wow, that's a deep question. What was running through my mind at that time? I was quite interested in sports. So there was a time in my early high school period where I thought I wanted to be an athlete.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's before I tore my ACL, and that was my athletic career out the window. And then I focused on my academic life. I pursued kind of a business and kind of getting a job in the corporate world. So
yeah. Damn, dreams got crushed pretty early.
There you go. Yeah. Had a couple of sporting injuries.
Yeah. So if you were to be an athlete at that time, what was it going to be? Was it going to be like that, cricket or?
Yeah. Well, it was going to be cricket. I played basketball. I played high school basketball as well. Mind you, I know I'm not that tall, but I'm the same height as Allen Iverson.
Nice, good inspiration.
But yes, I would have liked to pursue some sort of a sporting career, but yeah.
Yeah, so the ACL tear, which sport was that in?
That was playing basketball.
Wow, tell me more about it.
Turning point in your life. It wasn't even in a real game, it was in a practice game.
I love it.
And yeah, I tore my ACL during a practice game.
Wow. Ouch. Damn. And then so, the sort of sporting career closed, the academics opened. And did your parents have any kind of input on what they wanted you to be?
My parents always wanted us to kind of pursue what we wanted to pursue. But they were quite clear on a couple of things, like make sure that you go to university, get a higher degree. Also, actually, there was a lot of focus from my dad's side on being athletic and playing sports. So making sure that we incorporate that into our daily life moving forward as well, which I do now via other avenues as well.
Yeah.
That's not as intense as basketball, but yeah, like Wing Chun. So
stay tuned. Got some intense Wing Chun injuries.
Yeah.
Coming
also.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of what my parents really wanted. But, they were quite open and they were happy for us to pursue what we wanted to pursue,
Yeah, very chill parents, huh?
Yeah, they were really chill, actually, yeah.
That's cool. Kind of curious, what did your parents sort of do for work?
Yeah, so, my father, he was a military man, so he was in the army. So I grew up in Bangladesh. He was in the army there. What that meant is that we traveled a lot. When you're in the army, you get stationed in different places. So I was fortunate enough to be traveling across the country during my childhood. And also one of the reasons why I met so many different types of people. I changed schools quite often.
Wow, every year?
Actually, sometimes every 6 months, 8 months. So I got really good at meeting new people and getting to know them. That's how I also got exposure to different types of sports. Because at different places, people play different types of sports, which you then picked up to make new friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Did you hate moving around so much when you were younger?
I actually didn't.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. It was the aspect of a different environment, meeting different people. It was quite adventurous for me.
Yeah. That's cool. Do you have any like general fun memories of growing up in Bangladesh?
One of the good things that I used to do when I was really young, I used to gather everyone from the neighborhood and I used to organize cricket games.
Oh,
And
so good.
I would
On
like,
the streets?
like there would be like fields. We would like say that, okay, we're going to use that field on that day.
Yeah.
I would like raise money from the kids. I would go out and buy trophies and medals.
Wow.
And then we would play. I was really young. I was maybe like 7 to like 12.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, that was like one of the
kid.
things I did.
Yeah. So how did you fundraise for the money? Just like, hey man, chip in. So
Yeah, exactly. It's just like going, oh, we're going to organize a game, a tournament. We're going to have 2 teams and we'll play. And we'll just raise the money and I'll organize the trophies and the medals. And sometimes we would go to someone's parents who would then present it to us. Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you get that sort of leadership at such a young age?
I don't know. To be honest, I just kind of liked organizing social activities at that time.
Yeah.
And it's just more of it's probably the competitive nature in me.
Hey.
Because I would then go, oh, okay, I wonder if I can win that trophy that I bought and raise money for.
Did you ever, take some of the money and buy yourself a little lolly?
No.
Muheeb, a man of integrity at 7.
Hey.
Just want to clarify the rumors.
At least not on camera. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so after you finished high school, you went to uni, and where did you go and what happened?
Yep, so I think when I was 12 or 13, we moved to Thailand. So I did my high school there. So a lot of my really close friends are there. I really came of age over in Bangkok. From there, I went to university in Thailand for a year. During my time there, I met a lot of people who were doing exchanges from other countries. Yeah. And I met some students from Australia. And that really got me like curious about, what's it like going to Australia? Yeah. And that's when I decided to transfer into Brisbane.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you transferred into James Cook, huh?
Yep. So I did my undergraduate degree there. And I finished it off, followed by my master's at QT.
Damn. So that means you went to Australia by yourself, right?
Yes.
Wow, you're brave. No second thoughts?
No second thoughts, no. An adventure.
Wow, that's such a... Yeah, so what is kind of like, doing uni in Thailand versus doing uni in Australia, what's kind of the difference?
I think in Thailand, the university, we had a really active social life.
Oh.
Because you lived in a dorm, and most people who were studying tended to live in a dorm. But when I moved here, it was a little bit different. I'm sure like some of the other universities have dormitories, but that dormitory culture was not quite there. And I also thought that the universities here, the length of time was a little bit shorter. So in Thailand, university is about 4 years. Yeah. Here it's 3 years. Yeah. Also one of the reasons why I wanted to transfer, because I wanted a shorter degree.
Wow, smart, thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Got 1 year of your life back.
There you go.
Yeah, so, living on campus and stuff, you were a big party animal?
Party animal, if my mom watches this, no.
If she doesn't?
If she doesn't, I like to have fun, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had a lot of friends, we went out, we had a good time. I had a great time during my undergraduate degree. Yes.
Nice, maybe too good of a time. Yeah, so what was kind of like the standard life for you when you were at uni? Is it clubbing every Friday? Or?
No, not necessarily. I was working as well, so I was working and studying. So that meant I was kind of balancing both of those things. But I also made sure that I had an active social life at the same time. So I didn't overdo anything. Try to make sure my grades were all right and held down a couple of jobs.
Yeah. So what kind of jobs did you do during your undergrad?
Yeah. So I did a lot of casual work. like a lot of people. So I worked at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. So I got to watch a lot of concerts for free. That was awesome.
That's good.
And I worked at a call center for a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I was working at a cafe as well, and also shopping center in retail. Yeah.
Wow.
So I did a couple of different types of jobs.
And which one's your favorite?
You know me, I like the social aspect of it. So I like the Brisbane Entertainment Centre job because I got to see a lot of concerts, and the people who were working there were really friendly.
Yeah.
I had a great manager over there as well.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed working in retail in the shopping centers as well.
Oh, that's cool. And what concerts did you watch out of curiosity?
And I've seen Beyonce.
Oh!
I saw Justin Bieber when he was like 16.
Oh,
I don't know, Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Wow, you're
I've seen
cultured.
Chris Brown. Yeah.
Wow. And did you take a selfie of you at the stage?
Not at the stage. We were far away from the stage.
Yeah. Were you handing out beverages, that kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Solid job.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the best undergrad jobs to get.
It really is. I think for students, it's a fantastic way to like expose yourself to the hospitality environment.
Yeah.
Different types of people.
Yeah.
And develop communication skills.
Yeah.
But also you get to watch concerts and performances, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And a lot of late nights, huh?
Yes, late nights. Actually, you'll be surprised that most of the concerts didn't finish later than 12 at the latest.
Okay.
Because, they would start between 8 and 9 and they'll go for 2 hours max.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just a matter of the crowd just leaving.
Yeah. Any sort of fun drunken people stories there?
Yeah, but I'll leave those ones off.
Sounds good. Okay. And then so for your undergrad, what did you study?
I did international business. Yeah. It's a really generic degree, but it exposed me to a lot of different fields within the business environment. Finance, accounting, marketing, operations. Supply chain management, and the concept of international markets. So that was really good. I did enjoy that.
Cool. And where did you sort of get the idea of international business? It's not the most popular one out there.
It's not. It's probably because a lack of idea from me which one I wanted to specialize in. So I thought, why not expose myself to many different things?
Yeah.
And then off the back of that, decide what I wanted to specialize in.
Yeah. And what was kind of your second preference?
My second preference than international business was going to be something like international relations, to be honest.
Wow, you really need that international in front of the
I did enjoy that aspect of meeting different kind of countries and systems and processes.
Yeah, that's cool. And so when you graduated from international business, what happened?
I was working already.
Yeah.
So I actually got a job working in the education sector.
Oh,
and that's how I kickstarted my career there.
Yeah, and so...
So from there, I decided to stick to it for a while, and I worked in that industry for about 9 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your first job out of uni, working in the higher education, what kind of work were you doing
Yeah,
there?
so I worked in the marketing department, which
Nice.
is, recruitment of international students.
Yeah.
Supporting international students, it kind of varied at the different universities. Some of them was admission, some of it was recruitment, some of it was, support. So I really enjoyed that because I got to meet a lot of different types of people, a lot of different types of students.
You're the most social guy I know.
So for me, it was great. It kind of fit my personality and my personal interests as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So why go back to QUT and do Master of Business Accounting?
Yes. Fellow accounting grad?
Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to specialize in one field.
Yeah.
And I
Wow, generalist to specialist.
That's right.
Ooh.
That's right. So I wanted to get a deeper understanding of accounting and finance, and to be able to understand basically a balance sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, to understand how healthy a business is.
Nice. And you have successly understood a balance sheet?
I tried to. I think so.
Good confidence. Nice. And then so once you graduated, where did you work?
Graduated from my master's.
Yeah.
So I was still working in the education industry, but I slowly moved into project management, which kind of then takes me back to my self-proclaimed title of a deep generalist. Because one of the things that I really enjoyed doing was solve problems.
Yeah.
And I think when you have a deep understanding of multiple different disciplines, it allows you to solve problems a lot better. And I think that's what kind of got me interested in running projects, because in project management, you bring together multiple different stakeholders and solve a specific problem. According to me, at least. And that's why I enjoy running projects, working as a project manager, because not only you're working in solving a particular problem, but you're also meeting and collaborating with multiple different types of stakeholders from different areas of a corporate environment. Yeah.
Interesting. So what's kind of a day in the life for you?
Look, I think it varies.
I know you're going to say that.
Yeah, it really does vary. You know, when you run projects, new problems pop up, you have to solve them.
Yeah.
But a day in the life, you know, I'll talk through a week. You know, you start the week with your daily stand-ups. You know, you talk to your team. You meet with your team, and from there on, you decide what's going to happen during the week, and then you start talking to scheduling calls and meetings with stakeholders. Bring together information that you need to finish and run the project. So
nice. And is it like just a lot of delegating or like?
So there are aspects of delegation that's involved for sure. So you have to be good at delegating tasks, but you also have to be able to get the information from all your colleagues and teammates and make sense of it and present it back to senior stakeholders, but present it back that is easy to understand, makes sense, and addresses the specific problem that they're having. Yeah.
That's cool. And if you were to sort of break it down in a pie chart, would it be like 80% meetings, 20%?
It really varies by organization and the types of project that you run, to be honest. Some projects you have 50-60% meetings as a project manager.
Love it, right?
There are times I break it down. So I prefer hybrid work. So I'm in the office a couple of days, I'm working from home a couple of days.
Yeah.
So that allows me to break up the stakeholder meetings in person, which is a lot more effective than Teams meetings personally, I feel like. So you bring together everyone, you kind of talk through your issues, tasks that needs to happen. Then when I'm working from home, I can actually do some deep work and actually get things actioned. Yeah. So it's a really good balance for myself.
Yeah, that's cool. And if you were to sort of like, what is the perfect degree to go into project management?
You know, there aren't any perfect degrees. I think project management, you have to understand project management methodologies, which you can pick up via certificates. There's a lot of great online courses as well that you can do. But it helps to have a deep understanding of multiple different topics, in my opinion. And you have to know how to learn. I think that's the key to being a good project manager, is to be able to look at a particular issue, educate yourself, and then apply that to solving the problem.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what are your sort of favorite projects that you've worked on, keeping it general?
Yeah. So, you know, I like to work across, I've worked in multiple different industries, so higher education.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about higher education. I really enjoyed developing partnerships with overseas institutions. And that was really great because I got to travel with it, meet different universities as well. I worked for state government where we worked to solving a specific issue for small businesses across Queensland. That was really fun. I got to meet with state government representatives from a lot of different states within Australia. That was interesting for me. And currently I'm working in healthcare and aged care. And that is very satisfying in a sense. You know, you can see the material impact of your project, of the end customer, right? Where you make a difference in their lives.
Yeah. Beautiful. And then tell me, entrepreneurship, you know, why, like, you know, living a pretty crazy life, the project management, why sort of burden yourself with another job?
I like to keep active. I like to solve problems. Entrepreneurship to me is, once again, solving a specific problem, a person's problem, or a group of people's problem. And so, and I like to keep busy, I like to learn new things, and that's why I pursued entrepreneurship on the side, is to always, it's really to, if I kind of identify a problem, I would like to solve it, and I would try to do it via the tools I learned from fellow entrepreneurs, but also the community that I have met of entrepreneurs who are solving really they're doing some amazing things and they're solving some really critical problems across the world.
Yeah.
So I'm inspired by that, and I like to apply some of those learnings into my daily life. And that's how I kind of stumble onto entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Is to go, hey, there's a problem, there's a gap in the market, let's try to fix it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. And sort of when did your first entrepreneurial endeavor start? What
Yeah.
was kind of the timeline? Was
Yeah.
it during uni, after uni?
It was during my undergrad. So,
Nice.
and working in the international education sector, we saw a gap in the market, me and another friend of mine who was also working in the same industry. And we said, oh, maybe we can do this better. Let's give it a shot. And that's when it started.
Yeah, and what was the first little project that you guys
We were trying to create an education agency for international students by international students.
did? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how hard
Yeah.
was it actually to do that?
Well, running a business is it's not a sprint; it's a marathon,
Yeah.
and you have to be at it. It's definitely hard, but it's very satisfying. We did run it for over a year. Unfortunately, then during our careers, we just decided to pursue full-time jobs instead of running a business on the
real
side.
jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and what was the next entrepreneurial thing you did?
Oh yeah, so that takes us back to the Pluralist
Pluralist.
watches. Yes,
Wow.
yeah. Once again, saw a gap in the market.
Yeah.
So the Pluralist watches, it's still running, by the way. You can look at our watches at www.thepluralist.com.au.
Nice.
Karen's going to put the link on the description below.
Yes, we'll do.
It came off a conversation I was having with a couple of friends. And the discussion was around people don't understand where modern numerals come from.
Yeah.
And that different language, people from different languages use different scripts to tell time, read numbers, communicate. It's a pretty basic concept, but after doing a lot of research, we found that wristwatches are only made using Roman numerals, and we thought there was a huge gap in the market. Why not bring to life different scripts
Yeah.
that are embedded in the dials of the wristwatches?
Yeah, that's awesome. And so how hard is it to actually make that dream come true?
It was hard. So it was self-funded
Oh, that's hard.
completely. So I did the design, I ideated
Yeah.
the business model, reached out to manufacturers,
Yeah.
got those made, moved to Australia, and then market it and it go from B2C. So it's a B2C business model. So we go directly to the consumer via the online website. Yeah.
Yeah, and you designed the logo yourself, the Pluralist?
Actually, my brother designed the logo for me.
Disappointed.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
he's
gonna say,
a
so
designer.
cool.
It's a great. The first time he showed it to me, I fell in love with it. So we used it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And where did the Pluralist come from, the name?
So it kind of comes from my personal experience of someone who has a lot of interest in a lot of different areas.
Why isn't it called the generalist?
But also someone who's influenced by a plurality of ideas and languages and meeting different people from different countries. And so that's why it's called the Pluralist, right? Our lives are richer when we expose ourselves to a plural, like a host of different ideas and a host of different people and travel to different countries. All those make an impact on you. So you take in a plurality of ideas, and that's what makes a pluralist.
Wow, so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, and so what were the early days like? How long does it take from ideation to actually getting a product?
Yeah, so I think product development is really different to services
Yeah.
and online SaaS products. So, in like recently, people define the startup world via SaaS products or a lot of, where you tweak a little bit of code, it's up and running. When you do a product-based business or a startup, it takes a lot of time and it has to be timed impeccably. You have to understand when you're going to get your models made, when they're going to come to market, when you have to do the marketing.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure that your samples are there. You have to make sure you have time to change those samples if needed, change the designs if required, place the order. There's always a lead time to get it mass produced, shipped here, and then you have to do QA. So you have to do quality checks, make sure that the product is what you're saying it is, and then adjust your website, do some marketing leading to it, and then release the product into the market.
Yeah.
It's a pretty lengthy process.
It is.
Yeah.
And how did you learn all the skills for this? Was it learning on the job, or did
It's
you have
learning on the job. Yeah. As someone who likes to learn new things, it was learning on the job. And to be honest, I think starting a business and trying to run a business is probably the best experience that anyone can have, because it teaches you the skills that you would never learn in a book.
Yeah.
You just always at the mercy of a lot of things that are out of your own control.
Yeah.
And new problems come up, and it goes back to being someone who wants to solve a problem.
Yeah.
And so you're basically solving problems every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And you
Yeah.
did this by yourself, or did you have a co-founder?
So the Pluralist was a solo venture.
Wow, you're brave.
Yep.
So how long did it take to get your first watch out?
So the first one took a while. It took about 11 months from the moment I thought about what it's going to be like. No, actually 12 months, yeah, like a year for me to go into the market. So it was a long process.
Yeah, and what was the first watch that you designed?
So, so we do different scripts. So we've got 3 different scripts right now. We've got the Thai script, the kanji script, which is used both in China and Japan.
Yeah.
And we've done the Arabic script as well. So we released with the Arabic script.
Yeah.
And the next one was the kanji script, and then we did the Thai script. The best part about releasing a watch, designing it, is actually it coming to life.
Yeah.
And the second best thing that happens is when a customer buys it, and once they receive the watch, they give you positive feedback. You know, I've heard stories, and I'll tell you some great stories of the idea about the Pluralist was always for people to spark a conversation between different types of people, right?
Yeah.
Via wristwatch. And one of my friends who used to work in one of the big 4 consulting firms had a very quiet colleague who didn't really interact with anyone. He bought a wristwatch, and it had the kanji script on it. And his colleague, who is fairly shy, saw it and was curious about the watch and sparked a conversation between them.
Nice.
And that's really the purpose of the Pluralist watches, yes.
Yeah, and you also had your own experience in the airplane with an old lady. Yeah.
And that's exactly right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so, I'll be releasing this podcast episode probably in August. So will the Pluralist still be around?
The Pluralist, yes. So we will have a couple of, so we are kind of on our way, unfortunately, to close out the business. But we still have a little bit of stock left, and specifically the Thai watch and the kanji watch. Yeah. So if you're interested in it, yep, you can definitely reach out, and we'll get it to you. And we'll definitely support. So, with each watch you get a year of warranty. We'll definitely make sure that you have that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and also kind of curious, during that 1-year process to get the first watch out, did you ever want to give up?
Yes. But then no at the same time, because when you have problems, the manufacturer that you identified is not up to standard, then you have to go back, find a different one. So you always look at multiple different manufacturers when you get a product into the market. But things change, the quality could differ, and then you have to go back to square one and start doing your research once again. It sets you back.
Yeah.
But there were times where I thought, oh, this is too hard, it might take too long. But you persevere because you have a vision, you want to bring it to life, you want to see what it's like. That usually got me through it. So.
Yeah, that's amazing, because usually, when you do it by yourself, it's more easier to give up.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
You still had that vision.
Definitely. I think one of the things that I would always say, it's entrepreneurship and startup, it's a team sport. You need people around you. I think one of the great success factors, in my opinion, is that one aspect is that you definitely have to have a fellow founder or a teammate to get through those really low days where you don't know if it's worth it, you doubt yourself, you doubt the concept. That definitely helps. Yeah. So, if I do another venture, I would be looking at doing it with someone. Yes.
Nice. Yeah. So what's the next venture? We all want out like a little bit of a taste.
Don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, reach out to Muheeb if you want to be the next co-founder with him. Yeah. And as someone who really likes to keep busy, how do you sort of manage everything, right? You were working at the time, you're also doing the Pluralist.
Yep. You learn to get better at managing your time. You obviously have to have a pretty disciplined life to make sure that you dedicate some time to your business. You find time to make sure that you're excelling at your career. You're not compromising on any of them. And the third thing is your health. You have to make sure that you're also keeping fit, doing activities, also manage your social life. It's a lot. But I've found that it's not as difficult to manage as people make it out to be. I think if you are disciplined and you do focused activities throughout the day, you'll find time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sacrifices did you make?
Early on, I sacrificed a little bit of my health. So I was kind of like, letting go of my workouts or, eating a lot
Didn't
of
come
bad
to
food.
Wing Chun, right?
Exactly, right? So you just have to get better at it. And it's an iterative process. Some weeks are bad, some weeks are good. But the idea is to always keep focus and try to get back on track. Yeah.
Yeah. So nowadays, what do you sacrifice? Bit of your social life? Something has to give, right?
Yeah.
You only got 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, fortunately, I am winding down on the startups slightly. So that just frees me up. I have started to prioritize a little bit of my fitness and health and also time with my family.
Yeah.
I think that's quite important. And specifically since COVID, it's just kind of become a lot more important to me. I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And also, how did you sort of get the word out about the Pluralist? What was your marketing strategy?
A lot of social media. We did some fairs. We attended some conferences.
Yeah.
That's kind of the different avenues that we use to reach out to the market.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if you had to start like all over again with the entrepreneurship, what's your go-to? What would you do differently?
Find a co-founder.
That's also a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. Look, I think just apply everything that I've learned throughout the process once again. Take the small learnings, be more organized, do a lot more research. When I did find the Pluralist, I don't believe I had all the entrepreneurial tools. It's once I started, I realized that I was missing something.
Yeah.
That's when I went and did a boot camp, an entrepreneurship boot camp. And that just was quite enlightening for myself.
Yeah.
And so the next time I do it from scratch, I'll make sure that I apply everything that I learned from the beginning.
Yeah. We need like you to write a book or something to get all the learnings. Yeah, and I think it's also kind of amazing that like from a young age you're sort of comfortable with putting yourself out there. So talk to me about confidence, marketing yourself, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I am really. I still get really nervous about putting myself out there, and you always doubt, is it worth it? But I think if you want. Well, like, what do you have to lose is basically my thoughts. Is just get out there. And if you have an idea, if you have a concept, start talking to people about it. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Unless until you try, you don't know if it's going to work or not. That's, you can always come up with different ideas and don't go out to market or test it with others. And then it's just a thought. It's not really an idea.
Yeah.
Ideas are nothing unless until they're put into action. And I think you have to execute on those. And that's when it becomes reality. If you fail, you learn. If you succeed, you succeed. So either way, it's a win-win situation from my end. That's what I think.
Yeah, good mindset.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any like really negative feedback on when you tried to put yourself out there?
Yes, definitely. I think there's a lot of feedback is around. People want perfection.
Yeah.
I like to tell my teammates I prefer done than perfect.
Yeah.
And that's my mindset as well, is to just go and give it a shot. People will tell you positive and negative. It's definitely important for you to listen and take on board the negative feedback, because that will definitely help you improve the next time you put yourself out there. But I wouldn't let that stop you from putting yourself out there.
Yeah, that's good. Any negative feedback on the watches themselves in the early days?
In the early days, I think one of the negative feedback, because it's self-funded, it was only one script. Obviously, the feedback was, where's the other scripts?
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying, I want my script. Unfortunately,
I want it now.
They wanted it now. So I think one of the things that I would do next time is, if I were to release a product, is have a diversity of it, to ensure that you're catering to a bigger audience.
Nice. Even though, while being self-funded.
While being self-funded, that was one of our barriers to not having multiple different scripts, is because it was self-funded. I wanted to release with one, sell, and then release the second one.
Yeah.
But that's a slow process. People want a lot of different diversity, like diversity in design, in script, to be present to them straight away. Yes. But that's the market.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. And also, when you start putting yourself out on YouTube, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, and then so when did you start making, because I watched a couple of your videos of like higher education, where
Yeah.
did that sort of pop in your mind, like, hey, gonna,
Yeah.
film some stuff?
Oh, well, I got invited to some conferences to talk through, entrepreneurship, my entrepreneurial journey, sometimes about methodologies, and so I decided to participate in those, yeah. And of course, when you are trying to raise funding for startups, or you
Yeah.
have a startup concept that you want to take to market, you do a lot of different incubators, you go through different programs, and you have to pitch your product. So that's where a lot of my YouTube videos come from.
Yeah. Now, are you comfortable with public speaking?
Am I? Look, I would say kind of yes, no. I think I still. It's once again, it's a learning process.
Yeah.
Every time you do a podcast like this, and you listen to it, and you're like,
Nice,
oh, I
you
didn't
frame.
frame that right, or
Oh, I didn't bring the watch.
exactly, you forgot something. But it's a learning experience, right? You learn from it, you watch yourself, and hopefully the next time you do it better.
Yeah.
So the more you do something, you get better at it.
Awesome. How are you so positive, Muheeb?
You gotta have a positive mindset,
Wow. Do you do your affirmations in the morning?
I listen to music in the morning.
Oh, that's good. What kind? Any recommendations?
All types of music, Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Afro beats.
Ooh, very
There was a time I used to listen to a lot of BTS and K-pop.
Yeah.
And then I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop and R&B. So I usually play those as well.
Yeah.
Different types of music for different days.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want to feel like when you wake up.
Yeah. Feel like a K-pop superstar. That must be pretty good.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And kind of like a general question. So sort of how do you manage stress and XYZ? Do you have any releases for yourself?
Going to the gym and playing sports and Wing Chun.
Yeah.
I think
Fight it out.
I think when you're stressed, it's really important to take a step back,
Yeah.
go for a walk, go for exercise. Exercise always helps.
Yeah.
Whenever you're feeling low in energy, stressed, overthinking, or just distracted, So, sometimes during my work from home days, I find that I'm having a bit of a low moment. I can't think clearly. I'm not able to solve an issue. Just go for a run.
Yeah.
Come back and boom. You're active again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Nice. And also the scandalous question. So, you've worked for like 5 different unis in Queensland. So what's it like? What are the differences between them? And
Look, I love working for universities. I like that environment, the higher education environment, where people are learning, a lot of different types of people. Different unis have different strengths, I would say, I think. And it was a really good experience for myself to understand what their strengths are. The different types of people that study at different universities as well. I'll leave it at that.
Very good. So aside from project management, entrepreneurship, you're a Wing Chun master. Tell me
I don't know, an amateur.
Nah, you're pretty good. So how did that Wing Chun journey start?
It's a good question. I think once again I was looking for a sport that I wanted to go. So I was going to the gym quite a lot. That was kind of my sport to do.
Yeah.
But I found that I needed to focus a lot more on my mobility and to work on a little bit a community that you can find. And I always liked, watching. One of the first movies that I watched was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and I was always interested in martial arts. And when I did my research, I came across Ip Man.
Yeah.
And I saw the movies, and I thought that's the one I want to do.
Yeah. Wow.
And I found there was a school right next to my house, and there we go.
Convenient. Yeah, that's cool. And so, what is your sort of favorite moves in Silvertal? Let us know.
You know what? I'm a big fan of the Bong Sao.
Yeah, I love the Bong Sao.
Yes, it takes a long time to get right.
Yeah.
You cannot start with the
so
Bong Sao.
annoying.
You have to place it. But I always found it to be fairly effective.
Yeah.
And just a fun thing to do.
Yeah. And a lot of people say that, once they get sticky hands, that's when their career in Wing Chun skyrockets. Is that true?
I don't know, because my sticky hand is not that good. I'm still learning. I think one of the things I really like about Wing Chun is that aspect of it's a never-ending learning process, right?
Yeah.
It fit me perfectly.
Yeah.
I thought it's a little bit more holistic than just brute force.
Yeah.
There's a philosophical aspect to it. There's an aspect of balance and structure.
Yeah.
And then there's times where you have to be strong. There's times where you have to be soft. That mix to get that right, it's a never learning process.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. I learn something new every time I go to class,
Yeah.
which is really amazing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I also heard the rumors that, going for your Silimtal 6 exam in September.
Oh my God, yes. That's my goal for the year, is to finish Silimtal 6. Finish that, so fingers crossed. Got to work on all my endurance.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, so, I guess you got to commit on camera. So what's the kind of, how are you going to achieve that goal? How many reps?
Yeah, so I got to get started. I've started to do a lot more cardio now.
Yeah.
I think, and just get into a lot more freestyle.
Yeah, that sounds good. Do you also practice at home much? It's a bit hard to do the visualization. Do you do that?
So, I think leading up to grading, so one of the reasons why I don't like grade too often, so I like to give a 6-month gap, is once I grade, I kind of turn my focus to work for a little bit. But then when I have a goal that I want to do my grading in September, so let's say from July and August, I'll make sure that I incorporate daily practice sessions or something that's a lot more frequent leading up to that grading. So I feel a little bit more confident. Yeah. So I do change it, but it really depends on the time of the year, what's coming up.
Yeah. And what's your self-practice going to look like?
If we were to, just running drills at home, just trying to go through the motions.
Do you get your family members to throw you punches?
Actually, yes. Sometimes I get my wife to do a couple of punches for me. She does karate, so it's.
Oh, that's very good.
So we have 2 different types of martial arts that we practice, and we try to test the techniques.
Yeah. Is Wing Chun your first martial art?
In terms of martial arts, yes.
Nice.
Yes, it's my first and favorite one.
Wow, first and only one.
That's the only one, yeah.
Yeah, so you experienced some really fun injuries. Tell me more. Whichever
so,
one.
I got a shine on my nose last year. That was fun.
So how did that happen? People are going to be like, wow, martial arts are dangerous now.
No, it's not dangerous. It's just accidental. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It was just a slight injury. So it took me about 3 weeks, and then I was back to it as well.
Wow, looky. Any other serious, you had the serious
Well, I had the
bruising?
ACL as well. And I actually hurt my shoulder playing a different sport before when I was playing other types of sports.
Yeah. And so me and you, we're like one of the few people that actually wear mouth guards. So what's
Yes.
your promo for mouth guards?
Yes. Get a mouth guard, everybody. Go to your dentist. If you have insurance, it'll cover some of it. So I'd recommend. I went to my dentist and he was like, do you want a mouth guard? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And so, we got a mouth guard.
And have you been hit in the mouth quite a few times?
Yes. And mostly accidentally it happens. And, people don't do it intentionally. But
Oh, you think so?
We hope so.
Gotta call out a few people now.
Yeah, except Karen.
Oh, nah, never. He
yeah.
looks pretty mean with that black mouth guard. Tell me about it. Yeah, cool. Sweet. Now I'm going to go to the deep questions.
Oh,
yeah.
there we go.
So the meaning of life for you, Muheeb?
Oh my God, that's way too deep for a Saturday morning. I need another coffee. Meaning of life, for me, really, life's a journey. I like to look at it as a journey.
Yeah.
And service, right? On your journey, you come across many different types of people. And hopefully, you can add some value and be of service to them as you go through the journey of life.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good. Just adding value, I guess.
Yeah, just add value.
Yeah. And if you won the lottery tomorrow, hopefully, fingers crossed, what would you do differently about your life?
I don't know if I would do anything differently,
Good.
to be honest.
Good.
I think if I did win the lottery, it would just, maybe a new venture.
Yeah.
I can fund it myself again.
Yeah.
But I would.
Resurrected.
Yep. Resurrected, yes.
Yes.
All the scripts of the world, they're coming.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely go back to uni and pursue a PhD. I would go in mostly something different. I'm quite interested in economics and international relations.
Yeah.
And maybe I would pursue something along those lines. Maybe just slow down on work, and pursue a bit of higher education once again. But that's just my idea. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's good. Do you have any advice to your younger self?
Have fun.
Weren't you already having a lot of fun?
Yeah, I did. But yeah, stay positive, and that's my advice to my younger self. But I like to keep positive. I think having a positive mindset is really important. I would tell my future self, don't lose the optimism. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's to remain optimistic is the hard bit.
Yeah.
Than the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you maintain it? Are you like into certain YouTubers? Watch them podcast or?
I think it's just to have a positive perspective on things. Is to look at challenges as problems to solve, as opportunities, and as long as you frame your mindset a little bit differently, life is difficult sometimes. It's just to look at it that it's a moment in time and it's going to pass.
Yeah.
It's a problem for you to solve at that time, and as you move forward, it'll be gone. As long as you bring that mindset to your life, you'll remain optimistic. I think so, at least.
Yeah. That's cool. You got any Wing Chun tips for me? Selfish question.
I'm not gonna lie, Karen is pretty good at Wing Chun. She is moving. She's gonna cross me and my levels very soon.
Never.
I think enjoy it. I think the classes that we do, we have great trainers. And talking to them.
Jason.
Jason, Marco, Firan, Dillis, Phil, Chris. We have everyone. They're all great. I think I like to talk to a lot of the trainers about their take on Wing Chun. It differs from person to person.
Yeah.
It's just like see what others think and then incorporate that into your own style, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing great. I have no advice for you, Karen, now.
If Sifu was listening to this, he'd tell me to relax.
Everybody tells me to relax. It's, when people are throwing a bunch of punches at you,
You're scared.
You're scared. Your first reaction is not to relax.
Yeah.
But it's important to relax.
Good. And the final question is, what is an ideal day in the life for you? It can be work related, it can be non-work related.
Okay. I think work related, again, it just kind of varies, but wake up, have a coffee.
Nice.
First thing I need to activate myself. And then, have a stand up with my team, and then decide what's going to happen throughout the day. Start actioning the tasks that we have to do.
Yeah.
Close out with a final meeting and having achieved a couple of tasks. After that, I either go to the gym or I go to Wing Chun. I go back home, have dinner with the family.
Yeah.
And then potentially I would either watch a show that I'm binge watching at the time, or I would read and then just go to bed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the most recent show you binged?
Succession. I just finished it.
Nice.
Very good. I highly recommend. Ending was fantastic.
Yeah. And what about most recent book?
I just recently finished A Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. Highly recommend. I read a lot of nonfiction books. Recently, I've been reading a lot about global economics, trends, and just kind of related a little bit to geopolitics as well. So I would recommend that one.
Awesome. So we're at the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, Muheeb, for your time.
Thank you for having me, Karen. That was great. It went quick as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Check out her podcast. She's got
subscribe.
Great line of speakers, and they're all fantastic. So,
including yourself, right, Muheeb? Watch this episode. Thumbs up. Let's say bye.
See ya.
Bye.